This meeting of the Historic District Commission will take place in a webinar format through Zoom. The chair of the commission is Sarah Moriarty. The host of the webinar is the building officials. Staff attending this meeting include Peter Zavinglis and Linda Galetta. Anyone speaking should state their names prior to speaking each time. The panelists in this webinar meeting will be the commission members and the building staff. Panelists who would like to comment on an item should indicate such by using the icon to raise hand at the bottom of the screen. After a panelist raises their hand, they will be able to comment one at a time when called upon by the chairperson. Panelists should mute their microphones until called upon. Panelists calling into the meeting by telephone may raise or lower their hand by pressing *9. To mute or unmute your call, press *6. To make a motion or second a motion, commission members can raise a hand and be acknowledged by the host or chair. To vote on a motion, commission members will be called upon individually by the chair to vote. The public can participate in the meeting during the public communications agenda item. The public will be asked to raise their hand during public communications if they want to speak at this time by using the icon to raise hand at the bottom of the screen. The public will be called upon by the host one at a time. They will be able to speak during this time. Attendees must identify themselves before speaking.
All right, I will call this meeting to order on March 16th at 7:06. And Todd, if you want to read the call. Todd?
If it appears.
Oh, sorry.
Hang on 1 second. That's not it. Hang on. There we go.
Dear Matt, please publish the following public notice for one insertion on Monday, March 8th, 2021. Town of Groton notice of public hearing, Historic District Commission. The Historic District Commission will hold a public hearing on Tuesday, March 16, 2021 at 7 p.m. virtually via the Zoom platform to hear the following applications requesting a certificate of appropriateness. HDC 21-09, 192 Noank Road, Bryce Chamberlain, owner, Lindita Donahue, applicant, Tesla solar roof, PIN number 261-806-391130. HDC 21-10, 12 Water Street, Factory Square LLC, owner, applicant, renovations for micro-apartment, PIN number 261-918-305500. A Zoom meeting link will be posted to the town's website meetings calendar or can be attended by visiting www.zoom.us. Webinar ID 880-3666-5287, password 493949, or by phone 1312-626-6799. Applications are on file and available for public inspection during normal business hours at the Planning Department, 134 Groton Long Point Road, Groton, Connecticut, dated this 8th day of March, 2021 at Groton, Connecticut. Todd Brady, Secretary.
Okay. So I will call HDC 21-08, 261 High Street, David Calla, owner, David Atkinson, applicant, construct carriage house. They here? Yes. All right.
Hi, can David Atkinson here? Can you hear me?
Hi, David. We can hear you. And just, I'm not sure if anybody told you this before. I know you were a continuance, but was everybody here for his first application? No one's answering me. So
Yes.
that's a yes.
Plus,
Okay. All right. Sorry. I just wanted to make sure everybody knew the background. Go ahead.
So as you may recall, we were looking to construct a 24 by 24 foot carriage house / garage at 261 High Street for the Callas. The application was submitted. The building, if you can scroll down, there was some designs submitted for the building. It's actually, go back to the site plan. We can just, I don't know how much you want me to go back through this, but basically it's a 24 by 24 foot carriage house off of Godfrey Street. I mean, there are accesses from both High Street and Godfrey Street. It's about 20 feet from the house. The commission requested a little bit more information in terms of the scale and how it sat on the property. So I did do a drawing from both Godfrey Street and High Street. So if you would scroll down, I'm assuming they're attached. So this is the original design that was attached. The building is approximately about 14 feet to the eave, with a, a 10 and 12 pitch to about a 25-foot ridge height. And if you scroll, so it's basically a 2-car garage with an office space above with a double door. If you scroll down some more, please. So here's the drawings that were submitted as requested by the commission. So the top drawing there is obviously a 2-dimensional drawing of how it would look like from High Street. High Street is several feet lower in terms of elevation. You step up about 6 or 7 feet, as you can see by the steps there, to the house. The carriage house sits about 20 feet to the side of the main house. The eave is approximately 14 feet. The eave of the main house is about 19 feet. So we felt it was appropriate that it's down several feet from the main house. And then if you scroll down a little bit farther, this one is a little bit more deceiving because it looks like it's right on top of it. But again, it's a 2-dimensional drawing. The carriage house is about 20 feet in front of you, or 20 feet forward of the main house. So it's not quite as close, but you can now you can see the roof elevation differences. Again, the eave height of the carriage house is about 14 feet. The eave height of the main house underneath the window there, the arched window, is about 19 feet. The peak of the main house is a little over 27 feet, approximately, depending on where you measure it from grade. The peak of the carriage house, again, depending on where you measure it from grade, is about 25 feet. So those were the drawings that were requested. Again, it's a vertical board and batten, vertical siding with asphalt shingled roof. Very simple building, just to house Mr. Callow's vehicles. I believe that was all that was requested. There's certainly questions I can try to answer for the commission.
If you scroll down, are there additional photos of the house?
Oh, I'm sorry, you're right. I believe there is. So there's the photo of the house. So if you see where the black SUV is, that's where the carriage house would sit. And again, you can see a little bit better in this picture that the carriage house is 20 feet approximately, I guess, to the south of the house. So it's not right on top of it. And then if you scroll down a little farther, and then one more, you'll see that there, and it's tough because the sun is in the angle, but again, you can look over, see where the SUV is and where the vehicle is parked. And you can see it's quite a, there's a steep little driveway up, but it's about 20 feet from the face of the house to the edge of the carriage house.
So is the driveway it connects from each street?
Yeah, yes, it does. The driveway connects out from High Street, and it's L-shaped, and it goes out to Godfrey as well.
Gotcha.
And there's the additional garage that's attached to the house.
If you go back up one more picture, there's a
Okay.
that is a very small garage, low headroom, very narrow, but yes, it is a garage bay.
Peter, can you scroll back up again, first to the site plan, please? Okay, and then up down to the elevations that he showed us before. All right, so in this one here, the carriage house is forward or in front of the house on the right, correct?
No, this is a two-dimensional drawing. The carriage house is set back from the house.
Okay, back from the house from this vantage point.
So again, if you go back up to the site plan, you can see that the carriage house actually is set back the depth of the house. So again, it's tough as a two-dimensional drawing because it doesn't give you any depth.
If you look at the picture with the neighbor's driveway with the red door facing you.
Well, stop there for a second though. How come that
the carriage house is going to start just past that, about where that tree is?
Pretty much, yeah. If you take that, if you come forward from that tree a little bit, at the base of at the back
got
end of that, at the back
Yeah.
end of that SUV, that's where the carriage house, that's where the beginning of the carriage house will set.
How come in one drawing it looks like the carriage house is lower roof line than the house, and in the other one it looks like it's higher than the house?
Because there's two roof lines and
There's
the
two
one,
roof lines. There's an east-west ridge and a north-south ridge.
Okay.
you
What
can
is
see
the,
in that picture. See that left roof is lower.
what's the height of that roof? Do you know?
I'm sorry, which roof are you referring to, please?
The roof to the left there, the lower roof, the extension. of the-
Let me just check my drawing here. So it is slightly lower than, so the main eave there beneath the sort of arched window is 19 feet. It appears that roof is about 6 inches lower. So yeah, I would say it's, 18.6.
Well, the eave, I thought. What height did you say the eave was?
So the eave of the main house
Yeah,
it averages about 19.6, but obviously
Right.
the land slopes away. So it's depending on where you take it, but it's about 19 feet, say at the door.
right. So the eave of the extension is obviously the same height.
It's
Correct.
slightly lower. It's
Oh, slightly lower. Okay. Okay.
Slightly lower.
So the
Yes.
ridge, I'm talking about the ridge.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. So the ridge of the main house is 27 feet. If you give me a moment, I can measure the drawing that I have to tell you.
Because this is what you're talking about, Don, right?
Yeah,
So
Yeah, in that particular view, it makes it look a lot.
Yeah, it does. I realize that because
but again, so in this particular view, the carriage house is set back 20 feet, and we purposely left the eave height down at 14 feet, and that roof slopes away from you. This, again, it's a two-dimensional drawing, but that roof slopes away from you. So we kept the lower eave height much lower than the eave height of the house, 5 feet lower than the eave height of the house, and obviously about 4.5 feet lower than the eave height of the sort of the L addition to the house. But yes, the main ridge of the carriage house is about 1.5 feet higher than the secondary ridge of the main house, but it is about 2 feet lower than the main ridge of the main house, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
okay.
And again, the two dimensionality of these drawings are, in my opinion, deceiving. And I realize that's all we have to work with, but I think if you go back to the pictures, you can start to see how it, again, so if you, I'm sorry?
How many square feet is the floor in that loft area? Or the
Well, so again, that's one of the reasons. So to get any sort of usable space up there, we went up with a 4-foot knee wall before we started the roof lines, so that it's not just a very tiny loft up there. So that the garage is 24 by 24. Usable space, it will define usable space. You've got headroom of 4 or 5 feet. Is that usable space? Because again, imagine a 4-foot knee wall at the outside wall, then it slopes up. So
Yeah.
2 or 3 feet, you sort of lose. And actually, I think if you go back to the floor plans, can you scroll back up, please? To the original drawing. All right, so second floor, you can see there. Okay. Up in the upper left of that drawing,
Yeah,
you can start to see how I've got the approximate headroom line of 7 feet.
yeah,
So yes, they don't gain a full 24 by 24 foot usable area because of the slope of the roof. Now, clearly, if we lowered the eave line down, that would become much less usable space up there, because it would become, that 7-foot headroom line would slide closer to the center of the building, and you'd lose a lot of space. Conversely, if it were a full 2-story building, we'd be up 7 feet at the perimeter walls, which we're not asking for. So we thought this was a reasonable compromise.
it looks nice to me. I think the size of the garage is pretty large compared to the house, but that's not my choice for, you know, and you have enough property there to hold it, so it's not like you're overcrowding a lot.
Peter, can you scroll down a little bit to pictures 10 and 11? Keep going. Yeah, so can you stretch the screen so we can see both photos at the same time? So the opposite. So I'm trying to look at both photos if we can. Okay, so the first photo is from High Street and the second photo's from Godfrey Street, correct?
No, they're both from High Street. It's spanning from, I took the photo of the house and then I turned a little to the left, took a photo of the lot because I couldn't get the entire house and
Or maybe
the,
that's not what I was looking at, sorry.
that's from Godfrey Street.
There, that's it.
The red door is from God.
So, right, so I was just trying to
And
orient.
that driveway we're looking at is the neighbors.
Yeah.
No,
Okay.
that driveway is the Callis property. That is their driveway off of Godfrey Street onto their property.
So,
Cobblestones?
Yes, they have access from both Godfrey and High Street, and that is their driveway from Godfrey Street onto their property. If you go back up to the site plan, you'll see that that's. So, okay, so that we were just looking at the Godfrey Street entrance.
My sentencing got canceled.
So where are those cobblestones?
They are essentially on the property line. They're not shown on the site plan. They're essentially, the cobblestones are from the dashed property line out to the street.
Huh, okay.
And then they have cobblestones also, I believe, on High Street going up to the driveway as well.
That's correct.
so the doors of the garage are facing High Street.
High Street, correct.
Yeah, we'll probably want to stay a good distance, I would think.
Right, so there's cobblestones there. I mean, again, they're not shown on my drawing because this is a two-dimensional, very rough drawing. There's a stone wall all the way along. So where the driveway comes up off of High Street, there's cobblestones there. And so there's all right, yeah, exactly. So you see there's cobblestones there as well.
Yeah,
Huge,
Okay.
big nightmare thing.
So you're adding, because it's being set behind the house, you're adding to the driveway, correct? Or am I looking?
We are adding, there's a little bit of driveway flare. Again, if you go back to the site plan, please.
not much.
Not much. So if you look at, you see where it says 25-foot front yard, sort of just to the left of that little sort of flare area,
Mhm.
just to the left of that, to between that and the carriage house, right there. That area is added to the drive. So the driveway right now, if you come off of High Street, that driveway comes straight up, and the driveway sort of would go right to the center of the carriage house. We're sort of just taking a little bit of a turn and adding that little bit of parking area, a little bit of access area in front of the carriage house. Yeah, if you could, yeah. Right, so it basically, you see the back of the SUV, that
Mhm.
would just basically open up just a little bit towards the house, and that's where the carriage house would sit.
So if I'm looking at this photo right now, you're gonna build the carriage house forward of the house. So I'll be
No.
looking at it.
No, the carriage house is set behind the house, set from Godfrey Street, I'm sorry, from High Street. It is set, again, go back to the site plan. It is
Well,
set,
blue house.
it is set back from the house.
Right, and I see that there. I just don't see the driveway go all the way back that far when you look at the photo from High Street or Godfrey. Like it
Well-
looks like it stops in the middle of the, like, see there, go back up. I hate Zoom. Up a little bit more, Peter, please. Next one. Like, see, it doesn't look like it goes that far back.
It
Well,
does.
It does, and the driveway will go a little closer to the house. So the edge of the driveway as it comes off of High Street will stay as it is as it goes through the stone wall. Yeah, thank you, Peter. And then as it gets closer towards the SUV, it will splay a little bit closer towards the house. But
Where he's
exactly,
parked.
right there, right there. So
Garage.
that SUV right now is parked right pretty much in the center of that, in the center of where that footprint of the carriage house is. Yes. So that he's basically, that SUV is pretty much in the center of the proposed carriage house footprint.
And the weird thing about it is he's in jail on federal and state charges. And the state wants to transfer him to Kentucky because his mom.
And this photo's taken from,
High Street.
Sorry.
so and that's the front door, right?
The front door is right there on the side of the house facing the SUV.
Where the little columns are. Sarah.
Yes.
I feel like I'm
Uh,
saying, but no one's understanding, or I'm not saying it right. So the,
Yeah, the carriage house will be in front of the house.
right,
That's
No,
the front
well,
door.
it'll be in the front of the house facing Godfrey Street, but not High Street.
Not from.
Yeah,
So Sarah, the front door faces Godfrey, but the front door of the garage faces High Street. So it's like
Correct.
set back on, it's set back from High, but closer to Godfrey on the left. So it's set closer to Godfrey from the house, but
this view.
High.
Right.
Yeah.
So yes, it is,
Like crooked.
it is in front of the house on the Godfrey Street elevation, and the house does face Godfrey. However, the address is High Street, and and the presence of the house on High Street. So it's set back from the house on High Street, but facing in front of the house on Godfrey. Thank you, Peter.
okay. I see it now. I get it now. Thank you. Conceptually, I was lost.
No, yeah, the house is like the wrong way based upon, but I mean, obviously it was done for some reason.
Right. Okay,
Yeah, the house is sort of set way back from Godfrey Street, but you'd sort of expect that to be the side of the house.
right.
Right. Yeah, thank you. That's good. I mean, it is kind of odd. I mean, the house obviously sits right on High Street, but it faces Godfrey Street. The address is High Street. And so the front door faces Godfrey, but you pull in mostly off of High Street. So it's kind of a mixed bag.
Okay,
Well, you're not going to get into that garage from Godfrey Street anyway, unless you want to
No,
back in.
you'd really have to pull in off of Godfrey and then sort of drive down towards High Street and then
Yeah,
back
and then
into
back
the
in,
garage.
yeah,
I mean, yeah,
exactly.
it's not all that convenient. Absolutely not.
And the other structure at the top of the,
Yeah.
that's just, all right, that's an existing shed. I guess I don't know
Yep.
that we have a photo. All right.
That's already there. That's actually, it's a board and batten siding. Yeah, it doesn't, I don't know if it shows, I don't think it shows on any of the pictures I submitted. But it's basically the vertical siding that we want to match with the carriage house.
It's on the back side of the house from this view.
It's exactly right back there. You can actually see this, I think the back, well, that might not be the part of it. That's the bay window on the back of the house, so.
Can't see. You wouldn't be able to see it in any of these views.
all right. Does anyone have any other questions for the applicant? No? Yes, no, maybe?
No,
No,
All right. Thank you for your application. Would anyone in the audience like to speak for this application? Would anyone in the audience like to speak against this application? HDC 21-08 is closed. HDC 21-09, 192 Noank Road, Bryce Chamberlain owner, Linda Donahue applicant.
Yes, do you hear me?
Yes, we can. Thank you.
Okay.
All right, go ahead.
So I'm not sharing your screen, you're just gonna share it, right? I just don't know. Some towns allow to share screens, but some don't, so.
Peter, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't believe in the public hearing component that we can share screens. We have to just use the materials that were submitted.
I can let them share this screen. I could just stop my share and their panelists, so they could share it and rotate it themselves if I promote them.
Oh, okay. So
How about
Lindy, he can
Yeah.
share what there you go.
Okay. Okay, now I can share. Just let me know if you see it. The application. You see my screen? Yes.
Yes.
No. Okay. Okay, so it's Tesla solar roof. So technically it's not really different from the re-roofing with normal shingles, but it is different as like material maybe that is used, but I have the pictures of the house from every angle. Sorry, when we did the survey was actually snow on the roof. This one, the barn, we're not gonna put any solar. I mean, it's not gonna be re-roofed. Pretty much just the main house is gonna do the re-roofing. And these are, so the view from the other side of the street. I know this house is kind of elevated a little, so it's not really visible from the main street. I mean, at least the roof is not. However, we are going to put only the AC disconnect, which is going to be next to the meter, because that's when the existing meter is, and it's actually mostly for the first responders. The actual box is actually small like that, so it's going to be next to the meter, and nothing, all the other equipments are going to be hidden, and they're going to be in the basement. So they're not going to be visible from the street.
Do you have a site plan or a GIS
yeah,
map?
I know. I'm sorry. The site plan is really this one. It's very small. Actually, the ones that you're seeing, the reason why they are being dotted like that is because those are the ones that generate power, which means the roof itself has solar integrated, the tiles. The other ones that don't have means that we're just gonna put dummy ones, we call them, but they're like the same. They just don't have solar integrated into, so they don't generate power. Also, so this is like the roof. I mean, I'm sorry, like the site plan from the aerial view. I do have another one here. This is like better visible because this is showing the original com shingles that they have, but this is another aerial view before, but yeah.
Okay, so you're right. You're right at the end of where Ashby Street intersects with the Noank Road.
Right. Yes. Yes. Right here. I can actually explain some. I mean, we have the cut sheets for the material because these are construction drawings, but we do have, yeah, this is like the roofing system specification. And right here, actually, I'll make it a little so that it's actually better to visible for, like, This right here is the dimensions and then the material and the texture. I mean, I don't know if the homeowner actually dropped off the sample that I left for him, because he was very anxious to just get it to you guys to see it and, like, I guess, touch the product. But I do have one here in my office that I
It's
could
gotta be, I gotta check to see it was submitted in the document. So if you want to
Okay.
kick it back to me, I can check the document that was submitted and see if it's in there.
Actually, I was gonna ask that we do that because unfortunately, some of the stuff that she was screen sharing doesn't appear to be in the actual application that was submitted. So we kind of have to run through what was submitted. I think,
this one actually it is. It's part of the plans. So
Yes, that
actually
one
the whole
is.
16, yeah.
but some
Everything. This one too,
photos-
right here, this photo, it is. The photos are part of the plans, yes. It's like in the plans that have been submitted.
Well, if Peter, when you pull it up, we can look.
Okay, yeah, no.
Did we have another application using the same roof sometime in the past year?
I
It
believe.
was another, it was an integrated solar roof.
Yeah, it wasn't that long ago.
No.
Yeah. I don't remember if it was a Tesla roof or,
If it was a Tesla roof, I would know it because I guess I'm gonna say that our office is the only one that does the whole state of Connecticut. Unless it was in a different state, like Rhode Island.
it was,
but-
well, it was in the district. But I
Okay.
don't recall the manufacturer.
Wasn't this
Oh.
was the Certainty one, wasn't it?
I just don't remember, Eric, but it was an integrated solar panel roofing material.
I think only Tesla and Certainty makes them, right? There's not even anyone else.
I don't know.
Yes, right now only Tesla is making the solar roof, correct, yes.
Buy the roof and get the car.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you can buy the car too. It just doesn't come with the car.
I think the only things that were missing were those additional house photos, which I don't think are necessary.
Yeah, well, I mean, I just prepped the whole package for the historic. Unfortunately, for me, it's like the first time, so I don't know what it's gonna be required and stuff. So I
Well,
gave
not
the extra
that
information.
it's not that it's necessarily admissible, but you say you have a piece of the roof with you right there?
I do actually, of the solar.
Because the last application, they did show us that. I'm just wondering if you could hold it
If
up.
you could see it, this is really a little heavy. So there are two pieces, that's why, but that's it. This is the one. So. That's like how one piece, which means one tile. But also, this is like when the roof is, like it just depends when the roof is straight, like the MPs, because on the places that we need to like cut them and stuff, then you'll have smaller pieces. But usually that's like the main product.
And you said that where you don't have a solar power generating part of the roof, you have some kind of a matching looking shingle that.
No, it's the same thing. It's
It's
just
not
that
connected.
doesn't have solar in it. Because I mean, I can tell, like, it doesn't show it now, but you can see the solar integrated is like really the lines shine on the glass, so you can tell that is generating. And then the other one that doesn't is the same product. It just doesn't have the solar in it. That's it. They're uniform, so from a static point of view, it looks really good. It's like gonna be uniform. I actually also have a picture of another house that we did. If you're interested to see it, how it looks, I could share that. Okay.
I don't think we can, because it's not part of the,
Right, although
present the
we
doc.
did, we can't.
Okay. That was just okay.
Does anyone, but I don't have any other questions. Does anyone have any other questions for the applicant?
Only
No.
out of, only out of interest, I wouldn't mind seeing the picture of it because we can't go on solar anyways, right? So. it would just
Yeah,
be
I mean,
curious to see it if no one.
You gotta turn up your volume, Eric. It's hard to hear you.
Sorry.
I would be interested in seeing it too. We just can't consider it as part of the application. So if everyone can do that, then I think we're fine.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't consider it. I just, while she's on it, it's worth seeing it.
yeah, definitely, we did it.
Unless no one cares,
It's-
I can just Google it too. It's not a big deal.
It's actually this one. I think I should see it just myself. Why can't share? Okay. So do you see this one?
The barn?
Yes, the barn, the red, like everything.
Yeah.
So this is a house in Berlin that we did actually in October, November. And that's how the finished products looks on an old ranch house. So it's like integrated with new.
And is some of that power generating and some of it not, or do you know? Looks like it's all pretty much facing the same way, probably
That's
all
right.
power
Yes,
generating.
and you're right. Yes, some of them are the one generating and some of them are not generating. Yep.
Okay, but you don't really see any difference. So.
But you can, that's true. You can't see any difference because they're uniform.
What
So.
does that cost if you know off the top of your head?
The cost actually, so how we do it is different for, I think, not I think, but they pay more for the generating tiles and then less for the dummies, and then it goes by square footage and everything.
Got it.
Right. So if you go on Tesla website and you put your house, how much square footage, and if you're to order a solar roof, the system will calculate it for you. It will also tell you everything. So yeah, because every sale goes online. For us, we don't have sell people.
Cool.
All right. Thank you. Does anyone have any additional questions for the applicant?
No.
HDC, I'm sorry. Would anyone in the audience like to speak for this application? Would anyone in the audience like to speak against this application? HDC. 21-09 is closed.
Thank you.
HDC 21-10, 12 Water Street. Todd, since you're going to be recusing yourself for this one, I'm going to promote Bill as a voting member.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, my name is Todd Brady. And this is an application for Factory Square at 12 Water Street. The first drawing there is basically the neighborhood area. So if you scroll down a little bit, Peter. All right, so that's Factory Square with the 12 on it. The actual area that we are carving out for a micro apartment is at the bottom of the screen, right about where Peter's arrow is. This is a approximately 300 square foot apartment, and it is sandwiched between the Margaritas restaurant and the Mystic River Chocolate Cafe. In a previous application back in 2016, before the Historic District Commission, we received permission to put 5 micro apartments in. One of them was pretty much this same unit C that you see denoted here, but to the below that were another 4, and that space was then leased by the Mystic River Chocolate Cafe, and so we were left with just one space that has been unoccupied for probably, I don't know, 7 years, something like that. In the process of drawing up the plans, and the next, if you go to the next page, you see a photograph. Well, where are the photographs? On my thing, the photographs come next. Why don't you keep going a little bit, Peter? Where the? All right, yeah, down here, okay. All right, so what you're looking at right there is the existing entrance to Margarita's. The micro apartment is in that area where that sign on the left there that says Margarita's Bud Light. That is actually a piece of plate glass existing. That obviously the Margarita's poster will come down. And what we're doing is we are reconfiguring the Margarita's entrance. So we are grabbing approximately, well, it's shown on the plan, X number of feet. And so the new wall that's going to become part of the Margarita's apartment, you can scroll up to the plan, Peter. Maybe at this point we should just look at that. This is kind of, all right. All right, so you see the stair going up there just to the top of the micro apartment. That's the entrance into Margarita's. And we're basically just squaring off the space to create a door into the micro apartment that is separated from the entrance to Margarita's. So we've recessed it into the space, the existing space, just so there's a little bit more separation between the two. And you can see it's a very small apartment. So if you go down a little further now, back down to the photo. So what we're doing is we are putting in, let's go all the way down to the elevation drawing. These are all photographs you can see. This is the Margarita's entrance. This is Margarita's entrance. That area where it says Modelo, right there, and the door to the left, that door would otherwise be into what is the micro apartment. We're bringing the wall straight out in line with the brick column there, and that will be incorporated into the micro apartment. Margarita's has extended their lease, and getting this additional space was part of the negotiation in the lease. And the other thing we are doing, among other things, the shingled roof there that you see, we're gonna replace that roof with a metal roof, 36-inch wide, black. It's the same roofing material that was approved for the main building. And we're getting pretty close to getting started on that work on the existing mansard. So we're gonna put the same black 36-inch wide metal roofing and replace these asphalt shingles.
Todd, was that part of the other roof approval or part of this job?
You mean what I referred to?
That roof right there. is
No,
that-
no, this is part of this. This
the other
is part
roof.
of this. No, the other roof didn't. The other roof work didn't apply to this at all.
Okay,
This is separate, but it's the same roofing material.
okay.
So you're just gonna strip off the shingles and put the metal in its place. So if you scroll down, there's just more photographs here of the looking down out. That's looking out to Water Street. Is there anything below this? No. So where's the architectural drawing? They elevate, it shows all the materials and stuff. See, the order's been changed from my submission.
The elevations, page 3 of your thing.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
it right there. All right, so this shows there's your big piece of existing plate glass. The door that's going into the micro apartment is the exact same door that was approved for all 5 micro apartments in the prior application. There's a detail in the door. It's a horizontal plank wood door. And if you look at this drawing here, you see the metal roofing on the old mansard where the shingles are. The inside of the Margarita's entryway gets covered with galvanized corrugated roofing vertically on the back wall and the side wall, and then the front exposed edge there and into the doorway is shiplap siding, which just covers the inside, comes around to the face there, and then it changes to corrugated metal on the Margarita's side. And that corrugated metal shown up in the upper right-hand corner. And as I said, the door here, which is a detail on the door, wherever the door details are, as I said, it's not in the order it was submitted, but There it is right there. It's a multi-horizontal plank wood door. And that's about it.
Are you replacing the windows in the back of the apartment?
The windows in the back were already approved for replacement in the prior application for the micro apartments. And for the
Okay.
four, and just so it's just for reference, they're Marvin Integrity Wood Ultrex traditional double hungs. They're exactly the same with simulated dividing lights, and those were approved in the prior application. There's 4 of them, and they're all being replaced with the Marvin Wood Ultrex double hung windows.
Got it.
Does anyone have any other questions for the applicant?
Nope.
No.
I will add by way of editorial note that we're going for a special permit next week, but we've been told by the fire marshal that we have to install a full sprinkler system for this apartment. And so we're gonna have to go for a modification because I'm not gonna bring a 6-inch line in for a 300 square foot apartment. We just abandon the project if we can't get a modification.
Would anyone in the audience like to speak for this application? Would anyone in the audience like to speak against this application? HDC 21-10 is closed. So I will open deliberations on HDC 21-08 to 61 High Street. David Kala, owner, David Atkinson, applicant. This was the construction of the carriage house. Any comments or motions?
I'll make a motion to approve it.
I'll second it.
All right. All in favor? I'll go in roll call. Brady,
Aye.
Moriarty, aye. Goodman,
Aye.
Nault,
Aye.
Levinson.
Aye.
The application is approved. HDC 21-09, 192 Noank Road, Bryce Chamberlain, owner, Lindita Donahue, applicant. This was the Tesla solar roof. Any comments or motions?
I make a motion to approve.
I'll second it.
All right. Any
And
comments?
yeah, I'm still looking forward to seeing one of these roofs. I think Eric is looking forward to it too. And I don't know if that other one we approved ever got built, but
It wasn't that long ago, though.
yeah, I mean, I'm thinking that it's aesthetically, it's probably a less obtrusive way to get solar on your roof than our panels. That's why I'd like to see it.
Not considering the photo she showed, but that's a pretty sharp look.
Yeah, I think so.
All right. All in favor? Brady,
Aye.
Moriarty, aye. Goodman,
Aye.
Nault,
Aye.
Levinson.
Aye.
The application is approved. HTC 21-10, 12 Water Street, Factory Square LLC, owner applicant, renovations to micro apartment and roofing. Any comments or motions?
I'll make a motion to approve it.
Second.
All right. Any comments? No. All right, all in favor, Moriarty, aye. Goodman,
Aye.
Nault,
Aye.
Levinson,
Aye.
Ferguson.
Aye.
All right. And that concludes our public hearings. Do we have any pre-application hearings in the audience?
Like a bad penny. This is Peter
I
Hurd
was
back.
just gonna say, it looks like Mr. Hurd's back.
Mr. Hurd again.
Oh my gosh, I'm sorry, guys. We're just trying to plan ahead. But Todd, you brought up the fact that you approved a solar for another roof recently, and I happened to be on that call. I believe it was on Pearl Street, and I believe it was a Tesla roof, and it might have been within the last 2 months.
It was that short a time ago? Jeez, I'm
Well,
surprised.
Maybe
Whatever.
3. I can't remember how many calls I've been on, but it wasn't that long ago, and I believe it was Pearl Street.
Okay.
The house sold fairly recently, within the last 6-9 months, something like that. A couple of houses down from the church.
Gotta be
So,
9.5 or 23.5.
maybe.
That wasn't Tesla though. I think that was just a normal one.
Was it? I thought it was a Tesla. Well, anyway, I thought they said it was a Tesla, but
I haven't seen any going up.
okay. Well,
I live on
anyway,
that.
just trying to be helpful.
Yeah, thanks for the misinformation on that.
You're welcome. Just three things as we're thinking ahead on our projects here. And I read through the handbook many times, and I'm just not clear on three things. A couple of weeks ago, we talked about the siding, and we've really looked much more deeply at the siding, are seriously considering stripping and starting again. So I just want to understand what my options are there for trim and siding. Can we go totally man-made? Do we need a certificate of appropriateness for that consideration? So that's.
I can't see who's talking. Is it the owner of Library Street?
Yeah, this is Pete Hurd. Yep.
I can't see that, so I don't know.
I have my video on.
Gee,
The screen's up.
Oh, no.
Oh, there you are. Okay.
There I am.
So what materials were you specifically?
Well, Dave Rossetto and others are talking about hardy board. I've done a little research on, I think it's called S&P siding. For the trim, I know, Eric, you talked about Boral and, the pluses and minuses with that and AZEK. But, not a final decision, but we're just considering it and just want to know what our options are there.
I think unless you replaced it in kind, you'd have to come back to get a certificate of appropriateness. And speaking for myself, my mind is open so long as it's not vinyl.
No, it wouldn't be vinyl.
So.
Yeah. Okay, that answers that question. We're going to start roofing shortly. We put up a drone to look at the chimney, and it looks like we may need to do some work on the chimney. So maybe repointing only, but it may be a tear down to the roof line and redoing the chimney. So again, kind of similar questions, what my options are there.
So, I mean, similar answer, which may not be helpful to you at all, which is if you're doing like for like, you don't need to come before the HDC. If you're making changes to style and materials, which I'm not quite sure what they would be in that particular instance, then you would need to come back before the HDC.
Yeah, we would try and reuse the bricks that are there, but we may get up there and find out that they're not good. So I mean, it would be to try and replace, as close to possible as we can.
Which I think you'd be fine with that, so long as you're using the same materials that were there previously.
Okay.
Not the literal exact same materials, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, I mean, it would be brown brick, same size, same number of courses, all that.
I mean, you rip down a brick chimney and you put up a cinder block chimney, someone's going to be like,
yeah, that's not going to happen.
You're not going to do that anyway. So,
okay.
I'll add, in my experience, because we had this issue at Randall's Wharf where we had to do some new brickwork, and the original building was from 1904, but we actually went down to Bridgeport to a brickyard, and we selected two different kinds of what's otherwise called a cane brick or that kind of thing, and mixed them, and we're pretty successful at matching what was there.
Great. Okay, good to know. Okay.
Riverhead has 100 different types.
Yeah, then we'll find it. Okay, it was just a question, so we'll take that under advisement. The last thing is we're probably going to put in LG heat pumps. So there's going to be outside condenser units. Any restrictions on those that I need to think about?
Not necessarily restrictions, but again, you'll have to come back for those, but we've approved plenty of those in the district.
Got it. Okay.
Just be conscious about where you're putting it, and if you can screen it.
Yeah, we think we know where we're going to put it and put up a little fence around it so you can't see it from the street.
And if you can do, Eric has done some of these, and he has been very successful at actually snaking them up inside the walls. so you don't see the superficial installations. I mean, we've approved them with the surface installations, but if you can bury them in the walls, so much the better.
That's not a problem. The house is close to gutted. So that
Okay,
won't be
so
a
that would
problem.
be the way, that would be the way to go for sure.
Yeah, don't let anyone tell you that they don't put them in the walls because of problems. I mean, we do it all the time. We've never had any
Yeah.
issues.
Okay.
Especially open. Yeah.
Okay, that's it. Thank you very much.
All right.
Appreciate it.
Nice to see you again.
Yep, good to see you. We'll see you again
Yeah,
soon.
see you in 2 weeks, right?
No, you won't, but maybe in 4 or 6.
All right.
Thank you.
Have a good night. All right, I don't think we have any other pre-app hearings. I'm just checking the audience. Nope. So that brings us to public communications. Do we have any? All right, approval of the minutes from March 2, 2021. I move to approve.
Second,
All in favor, Brady,
aye.
Moriarty. Oh, me, aye, sorry, I'm tired. Goodman.
Aye.
Levinson,
Aye.
Nault.
Aye.
Minutes are approved. Old business, none, right? It says none. Peter?
Correct.
Okay. New business, we have election of new officers. Do we want to tackle that or do we want to table it?
You're missing Max, maybe.
Wait for him.
I don't know. It doesn't mean.
I usually like to have a full board.
Don't we normally do this like a year after we're supposed to too?
Usually in
Yeah,
December.
normally we'd be ahead of schedule, Eric. if we
Right, all
moved
right,
it.
we don't need to rush into this. Any other new business?
I'm just curious, no offense to Bonnie, but how come it seems like Bill got passed over to be the regular member?
I think it was because Bonnie was a member before. So she had the experience.
Oh, okay. Like I say, no offense, I was just curious. Bill it seemed like he was here earlier, but
Right.
Read my mind, John. Thanks.
Looking out for you, Bill.
you're talking to a guy that I was an alternate for like 5 years. So you have my
Bonnie,
sympathy.
Bonnie, how long were you an alternate?
For the whole time I was on, but I don't know. I was a
Couple of years, right?
years and it was like 5 years ago.
I'm actually curious as to if you choose, can an alternate be one of your officers or is it just the regular members?
I think it's just the regular members, but I'll confirm.
Okay.
Is
I was
it-
just, I was curious about that myself because you're close to a full board to make this decision, this big
Right.
decision tonight, folks.
Don't be pushing us, Linda.
Oh, all right, I won't.
We're gonna nominate you for one of them.
That's right.
Oh heavens, no, I'm ducking for cover right now.
I know I'm missing another meeting tonight and they're reviewing some candidates for the position.
For
Right.
HCC?
Yes,
Oh, nice, good.
there's 2 candidates.
Hey, there's just one spot left, right?
I know, they gotta pick, they're gonna recommend just one.
I don't know if I've ever seen us have a full board.
I don't think in my 13 years have all the alternates and all the regular members been filled.
Yeah, I think when I came on, it was all 8.
Really?
But when Donna Brewer was on and the doctor and the other guy from Pfizer and
I'll have to think about that. You may be-
Bill was on.
yeah,
Okay,
Yeah, I think it was full when I was on.
huh,
Oh,
okay, my memory is lapsing.
all right.
We better get through this meeting before I.
Any other new business? No? All right, well then I move to adjourn.
sounds good.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Hey Todd, you're gonna have to get a big blind for that.
What?